Hi everybody, this is Leo A. Belt Sr. of Leo's Place, www.leosplace.us. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about child abuse and neglect. A lot of people, when they see a bruise on a child, they automatically think, well, the parent put it there. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes that's not the case. Or a lot of people, when they see a cut on the child, think the parent did it. Again, sometimes that's the case, sometimes that's not the case. What I would like to talk to you today about is a different type of neglect. Not seeing a child's face dirty, well, that's neglect too. I'm talking about the type of neglect that many people are practicing today, sticking their kids in front of computers and TVs and video games and letting them talk rampant on the telephone without monitoring what they're doing or paying more attention to them in the household. That type of neglect. It's a real problem within the U.S. and it causes a lot of problems with the children growing up. They don't have no communication with their parents, and it doesn't give them any moral upbringing because they're too busy playing the latest video game, in some cases violent video games, which is not good either. We all know where that leads to. Look at some of the shootings, Columbine High, the shooting several years ago by Luke Woodham in Mississippi. These things are happening because of neglect, because the parents are not taking the time to spend with their children, to bring them up and give them a code of morals to go by. When I was a child, we didn't have computers in the home. Atari was the biggest video game, but we spent a lot of our time out playing. In my case, I spent a lot of time out cutting people's lawns and stuff like that to make extra money, so that I could have things I wanted and things I needed. But that's not happening nowadays. What's happening nowadays is everyone's subscribing to the latest computers, the internet, and stuff like that, and the streets aren't safe for kids to be playing out on the streets. And parents, because they're working so much, are not able to give their children that moral upbringing that I'm sure a lot of them would like to give them. Well, some of them. Some of them I'm not sure. They seem to think stick the kid in front of the big screen TV and that's the answer. No, that's not the answer. The answer is getting back to some old-fashioned family values. You know, reading the Bible, if you like. If you're not a Christian, well, don't read the Bible. But it can't hurt to read it. It has some basic guidelines to life, to growing up and living in this world. Some simple rules of fair play, if you want to call it that. I call them God's 10 Commandments, because that's what they are. You know, in our own home, we have TVs, we have computers and video games, but we give our children these things to do that we used to do back then as kids called chores, work around the house, stuff like that. That's good for the child. It teaches them responsibility. And then when it's time to play, yes, we let them play. We let them watch TV. But when it's time to work, we all shut everything down and go to work. When it's time for Bible study at night, we stop everything and do our Bible study, and then, you know, of course, do some more activities to make it a well-rounded household. That's how we live our lives today. And I thank God for it each and every day that I wake up, and He gives me ideas to use. So if you're not doing at least any of that, maybe you ought to take a look at how you're living your life and where your priorities are at, and get your priorities right and straight. I'm telling you, your kid will love you for it more when they're an adult than if you just continue not paying attention to them and shoving them in front of TVs and computers and telephones and video games. That's all I have to say on this subject. It's not politically correct. I'm sure I made some mistakes along the way, but you get the message. You get the gist of it. It is what it is. Thank you, and God bless America, and God bless you. Have a good day. Bye.